So good evening, guys. I've got the leftover kit with the Rakovniks in it now. So I want to talk about something that's going to be controversial to some people, but it's true. I've been pushing these Rakovniks for quite a while now. A month I've been pushing them. They're very, very responsive to the training. They go in the box when I want them to. They respond to the feed can. But as you can see, here's the leftover kit. They're flying, they're coming down. Here's most of the Rakovniks. Actually, all of them right here. And it seems like no matter what I do, even though I'm seeing a lot of tumbling going on, they don't want to fly. And I've done everything I know after 45 years around rovers and flying lots of different types of pigeons. I've done just about everything I know to really push them. I've got really good control on them with the feed can, control on them with the water, which a lot of people who fly rovers and tumblers don't know about water control. But no matter what, no matter how much control I have of these guys, they just don't want to fly. And I'm going to push them some more. I think what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to, they're going to go on some little short road tosses. They're not going to be very far. They're going to be half a block, pretty much within sight of the loft, basically just to force them to fly. And here's the problem at the end of the day. These birds, even though they were a performing breed in Bohemia, which I've mentioned, this is where my mother's family comes from, is Bohemia. Even though this was a flying breed for hundreds of years, for the last 40, 50 years, they've been turned into exhibition pigeons. And when you do that, you start breeding for type, and you start breeding for color and markings, and you don't pay attention to the rest, or you lower your standard for flight, and you don't fly them properly. You just let them sit around on the roof and say you're satisfied with what you get. When you do that, you start losing the original function of the breed. And this has happened countless times. Red check white wing just rolled down over there out of the leftover kit. He bumps constantly. I can just hear him. He hit the blackberries over there. But this is the problem. That people see flying breeds and they decide they would make great show pigeons because they like them for various reasons. Because maybe they come with a specific type, specific color, and they decide to breed them to a show standard, and they stop flying them. A lot of guys, they use the excuse, oh, there's too many hawks. Oh, the weather's bad. Oh, I don't have the time. And they use these as excuses to not fly breeds that were intended for flying purposes. And sometimes worse, if they do fly them, they just let them loft fly and they let them sit on the roof, and they don't push them, they don't flag them up, they don't have control of the feed, they don't train them properly, and when that happens, they just become house sitters. And that's kind of what's happening with these Rakovniks, is they're just kind of becoming house sitters no matter how I really push them. Even though they're, super responsive to the feed can, because I tell you what, I've got the condition on them pulled down pretty low. And rovers, we have the old adage, especially among the California flyers, kings keep their birds low. And that's true with rovers and flying tumblers, as we really bring that condition down with the amount of feed and controlling the water and the type of feed. When we fly tumblers and rovers, most of us, we use wheat and Milo only. So I mean, you kind of like you do with racing homers. When you start using a lot of barley, you're pulling that body weight down to the bare minimum, and you're leaving muscle, but you're burning the fat off and all that. And these Rakovniks, they're still pretty pudgy because they're just not flying, no matter what. I can flag them, and they'll make a couple laps, and then they'll land. Obviously, if I do that with the rollers, they're going to go. They will keep flying as long as I keep flagging. They'll fly into the night if I want to keep flagging them up. I don't do that. I don't try to intentionally force them to fly at night. I'm not afraid of losing them in the dark. As a lot of you know, a lot of you have seen them come down in twilight and in dark conditions because they are used to it. But the Rakovniks, they're just not responding properly because basically the flying capacities have been neglected. And when we do that, we lose hundreds of years of breeding. And it's hard to decide what it takes to restore those flying properties. It's very difficult. And obviously, in spite of the hawks and the falcons and all that stuff and other things that disrupt flying pigeons, radio waves and telecommunications and all that, 5G and stuff, that does mess with pigeons, especially racing homers. People lose pigeons that way. Urban sprawl, all that, lots of different problems. Obviously, the bird of prey problem is the biggest issue. But when we lose what a breed was created for in the first place, very, very difficult to get it back. Often we can't get it back. So that's the message, guys. Be sure to hit the like button, hit subscribe. Keep them flying out there. And these Rakovniks, these guys are part of my cultural heritage, being Bohemian. And we're going to get them flying again, no matter what. May take a lot of culling, may take a lot of work, pushing them, doing some road training, really burning that fat off of them and getting that condition just right to the right point. But we are going to do that. Like I said, I've actually seen a lot of tumbling out of them as they go around and fly these short laps. I'm seeing a lot of sideways turning out of them, a lot of heavy wing clapping. So the performance is there, but the flight mechanism that the breed was well known for being a good kit flyer and flying a decent amount of time, an hour historically, that's clearly been very injured by breeding for the show coop. But like I said, I consider these pigeons part of my cultural heritage, being that I am Bohemian and they are Bohemian. So no matter what, we're going to keep doing it.